Speed Gaming. Welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament 2019. Happy Monday to you. This is Ikman Maya on the mic. You can just call me Maya. I am joined this afternoon by one of the original Confused Old Men. In fact, probably the original Confused Old Man. Edgeworth, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. Just looking forward to this matchup. You've got a couple of players who are some, pretty well-known risk takers, so it'll be interesting to see their decisions this time around.
I am looking forward to doing our best Statler and Waldorf impressions this afternoon as we watch Czar and Elastoid tangle here in the Swiss tournament for 2019. 5 rounds of Swiss. Of course, both Czar and Elastoid are 0-0 at this point, and so hope springs eternal for both of these gentlemen this afternoon as they try to navigate 5 weeks of the Swiss flags. The theme for this event is Sail the High Seas. Edgeworth, we have a couple of different incentive items and some things that are free here that open the world up for us. You want to talk a little bit about what we might see as far as progression?
Yeah, so the main theme of the tournament centers around the free canal, and that means it's not only just a hunt for the canoe into the floater. There's going to be a lot of sailing going around. The ship tends to show up early, and it tends to show up often. So our runners are going to have options to sail to a lot of different places. Ice Cave and Ordeals are both incentivized, along with Marsh Cave. So you can find progression items in nearly every single dungeon along the map, since there are also 2 loose items. So lots of exploration and lots of dungeon clearing required, and it's all about how efficient you can be when dealt a less than ideal hand.
Speaking of ideal hands or less than ideal hands, we do have some Force Party members and some Band Party members for this first week. The Force Party member is the White Mage, and so we will hopefully put that up at the top center of the screen here, that we have a White Mage that must be brought into the party. Whether or not you keep that White Mage alive or not is up to you, but you've got to at least take one along. The Band Party member for this week is the Thief, and so no thieves for us today. As we're looking at Elastoid set up an interesting parting composition here. That is a White Mage and then 2 fighters. Elastoid, one of our really creative members of our community, not only in the sprites that he uses, but also apparently in the party composition that he is electing to bring along here. Double fighter in Red Mage and White Mage. What do you? What is your reaction to that, Edge?
My reaction to that is I sure hope that Temper and Fast aren't at 7 or 8. Otherwise, Elastoid is not going to have very much fun with this team comp. On the other hand, it's going to be pretty durable with likely lots of access to life and cure spells. So,
yeah, I have to agree. With 2 fighters and a Red Mage, you're going to have pretty easy access to some opening swords, like a short sword, a falchion, a silver sword even. You'll be able to swing some stuff pretty quickly, and you'll find even some better stuff as you start to open chests. Czar also setting up party now, looking strangely similar so far. We've got a White Mage, a fighter, a Red Mage, and then the Black Mage. Okay, so this looks like a more traditional rainbow comp that we have seen here.
Yeah, so Czar, if will have a little bit of an advantage if the magic proves to be strong. Elastoid might have an advantage if it turns out if Fade is both White Mage and Red Mage learnable. So kind of hard to tell who has the leg up right now, but I think Czar's party is a little bit safer given that post-promotion he can learn any magic in the game.
And it looks like the race has just started in the SRL room, so we should see things coming to life here on screen very shortly. I do see a note about Elastoid sprites. Elastoid does use a custom sprite set. Those 2 Golbezes you see are fighters. We have a White Mage wearing the white clothing, and a Red Mage wearing the red clothing. We'll update those as we go through. The race starts now, and let's go take a peek at white magic. We've got Cure 4 in the first slot. Czar running over to take a peek at what the King's going to give us, which is a crystal. And then we also have Fire 2 on the black magic side. So that's nice to see, Edge. We're going to have a sweeping spell right off the bat for some of these early enemies.
Yeah, and also of note is Cure 4 being in a knight learnable slot. So those knights that are already generally very durable, once you get the dragon armor and the Aegis shield and all of that loaded on them, well, now they're going to have Cure 4 as well. So any battles of attrition in the Temple of Fiends, that's pretty. It's a pretty safe fight now, as long as they can promote.
On the good side, then, so we have a sweeping spell. We have easy access to Cure 4. On the negative side, the only saving items available here in Canary were houses at about 750, which is cheap, and that's really good. But the downside is that you're not going to be able to afford one of those immediately, which means you have to run up to Temple of Fiends without a saving item. And we see Czar instantly go straight to Garland to go ahead and try and take this encounter down.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Elastoid gets charbroiled by these wolves, and the key is the next item.
So
and
King
zombies
gives the
have toxic.
Oh, lovely. So that's going to make Temple of Fiends no fun at all.
But the key is going to give a lot of early resources, and so, maybe bad that houses are up front, but you're probably going to have the money for them if you sell some of this stuff that you see in here.
That dragon sword is very welcome to find. Also the were sword welcome. In Caneria proper, there were only sabers available, and they were about 400 apiece. So those weapons to swing are going to be very welcome to find. Elastoid's going to give this another shot here at Temple of Fiends, thinking about the direction in which they wish to go. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and take on Garland now.
Yeah, with only one source of Fire 2, he can't really afford to throw any charges around in the temple, so he's going to get his crystal, going to get his key, and probably loot those chests just like Czar did.
Czar finding out that mad ponies have blazed today, and so Czar resets back to Caneria. Sorry about that, Czar.
Yeah, there's a lot of nasty stuff early, so toxic zombies, which you're going to see in Marsh Cave. There was, I believe, heat or an early heat or scorch was on one of the Gur Wolf enemies. So
Czar using there's a pure potion. Thank you, Czar, for saving all of our ears from the screaming sound of poison. None of these runners looked at the left side of Temple of Fiends. Elastoid opened up one chest. It contained all of 2 gold pieces. We do not know what's at the top left corner of Temple of Fiends. That's something we're going to have to keep an eye on for later.
And with the key, they can clear everything out of Temple of Fiends. It's just a matter of, unfortunately, not having save items or easy access to them. It's going to be a little difficult. Elastoid looks like he sold the heal staff for about 10k, so he's going to be able to throw some saves down.
As our runners attempt to try to get to Matoya or Provoca, I did see that, I believe that's EOCan95, subscribed for 4 months in a row to Twitch Prime. Thank you for your support at Speed Gaming. We are super happy to be able to bring you some Final Fantasy Randomizer action. Thanks for watching. Czar's going to open up some chests here. That's about 2,800 gold. And wow, dragon armor and a floater. Matoya has all of the fun stuff today.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily mind the move for Elastoid either. Now that you have the key, you can just knock this dungeon out entirely, and if there's nothing good, just reset out. So, and these tend to be chests that are a little annoying to get to once you leave the area. Now, if you would have known the flutter was around, I'm sure you would have done something different.
There was an opal bracelet on Elastoid's side, so that is in the key lock top right-hand side of Temple of Fiends. That is great armor to find this early in the game. -34 defense at only a -1 evade penalty. That is just beautiful to find this early. Of course, the Gargoyles are also very happy to find Elastoid's party.
Yeah, and one of the other problems with running the party that Elastoid had is it's very difficult to run away from things early game. And he gets cremated and loses that opal bracelet.
Be interesting to see if he goes back to pick that up. Czar, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and raid the Dwarf Armory. Finds a ship in a box. That is one of the 2 required loose items somewhere floating around in the game. There's an ice armor as well. Anybody who took double fighter is going to be happy today eventually. Pro ring as well. Ed, ship in a box. What do you think?
Well, now you're down to 1 loose item, and if that loose item happens to be, say, the ruby or tail, you don't even need to find it. So, or possibly the loose ribbon. So, at this point, if I'm in Czar's shoes, just clear out as many of those incentive locations as you can.
Yeah, I agree. And with ship and with floater, Czar is going to be in the air here probably very quickly.
Yeah, Sarda's Cave being the freest check, and then Marsh Cave not too long after. But you do have a lot of free chests that you can check for cash, and you can also try to find Provoca and Elfland.
Elastoid, meanwhile, just getting the business from Gargoyles and not able to clear out Temple of Fiends and all of those riches, is going to go ahead and run away from that. Czar using Fire 2 on Kizaku and about to break out from under that free canal. Let's check and see what Melmond is today. Melmond location is Provoca, which is a very nice pickup. So we're going to get a key item here from Bicky the Pirate. Let's take a look at some magic. White magic side. Invis 2 in the 3rd slot. These are going to be learnable by the Red Mage, all 4 of them, as well as the Black Magic.
And we have Fire 3 and Ice 2. So Ice 2, not too bad to find, especially before potential Volcano Dive.
We will take a quick peek here in the armor shop. Silver swords at around 5,000 apiece. You do have a dragon sword and a were sword, so probably we'll stick with those for this point. Czar's going to go ahead and save his game here. We'll go ahead and take on the pirates. The pirates are relatively safe. I don't believe that unsafe pirates is on in these flags, and so we're not going to find any nuke pirates or anything like that.
It's going to use Fire 3 just to show him who's boss.
And survey says on the required item is a bottle. So now we're on the lookout for Gaia to trade that in.
Yeah, and one of the nice things about finding the floater early is that after you run down a few of these fetch quests, it does increase the amount of experience you have. So it helps you out by making your endgame levels a little bit higher than they normally would be with slow fetch quest chains.
Elastoid re-grabbing that floater again. Ran into Mad Ponies, which he has renamed Horsies in his custom ROM. The Horsies were not very nice to him, so he had to go back and pick up that required item again. Uh-oh, here's another one. Gets away safely. Gold bracelets at 13,000 today, right next to pro rings at 12,000. So in order to get a complete set of those, you're going to need 25k a piece.
All right, Czar picks up some mittens too for the for the ice skate.
Just in case it's chilly.
Oh, maybe they're oven mitts. He could be going to Volcano next.
So we are 10 minutes in. Czar has broken his way out of the inner sea with that ship. Elastoid has been running into some overworld mobs that are just not terribly friendly. Looks like he may be trying to run over to the east side here to take a peek into Provoca and see what the Provoca entrance is. This is a place that Czar did not go. So let's take a peek at find what Elastoid learns here. And There's Gaia. So we have seen the bottle. There's Gaia, and Czar is sailing in the opposite direction at the moment.
And Elastoid resets immediately out, which I don't agree with. I think you should at least check the item shop for a purchasable item, and check the magic shop for possibly what you may not get. Because if you see fast or temper sitting there, it may help you to decide to get some early extra levels on the fighter that you normally wouldn't.
The answer to the question we had earlier, what had Scorch, it is the Gerwolves, and of course those come in huge packs down here by Elfland. Czar is in Elfland now, and I believe was that Vanilla Elfland Town?
Looks like it. And he's going to dig open the treasury here, and just a pro ring, but never going to say no to one of those.
Now, pro rings are very nice to find. 8 defense, only 1 evade penalty again, does resist against death. All classes can put those babies on. Those are very, very nice things to be able to find there. Elastoid found his pro ring that the dwarves had, and so the second one hiding here in Elfland. Ice 2 for Czar takes down the Sahags, and he'll probably be swinging over to grab a floater here right quick. Sorry, an airship.
Yeah, Elastoid is, not as far behind as it could be, but he still has the whole Provoca sequence to deal with, so that's going to eat some time up.
Chat correcting me from earlier. Elfland's location is Onrak, and Crescent Lake today is Melmond.
All right, and we have Life 2 in slot 5.
So that's Red Mage learnable, which is very nice to find.
Lead 3 Ice 3 in the bottom slot as well, and as far as the elemental spells go, you're never unhappy to see any of the tier 3s.
I'll tell you, Edge, if Elastoid can get off the ground here, my sense is with Double Fighter, you've already found Dragon armor. You've got an Ice armor in hand. You've got a couple nice swords. You just found out that your Red Mage can learn Life 2 without having to class change. I think this feels pretty good for Elastoid at this point. Do you agree?
It's still a little uncomfortable not seeing fast or temper, but certainly you can offset some of that by either digging more chests to find the power gauntlet or getting some more levels to get extra hits on the weapon. So if Elastoid decides, hey, I want to do a 3-person party, I think it's going to work out pretty well for him.
It's also nice that those knights, once they class change, will be able to pick up Cure 4. And so you've got a couple knights that can heal any damage that they take. You've got a Red Mage that can bring people back up. Is the White Mage useful at this point?
The problem is they don't have anything to really contribute to battles at the moment. Cure 4 is certainly going to be nice to save time in menuing. So maybe bring back the White Mage for the run through the volcano basement.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think this looks like a dance scene unless you find Fate at 3 or 4.
Czar raiding the Cardia Islands chests. I guess we could call it the Zardia Islands chests today. We usually do anyways in honor of Czar. Czar is one of our oldest, not just by age, but also by date, competitors in this tournament. Czar ran his first Final Fantasy Randomizer seed way back in the sands of time. January 19th, 2016 was Czar's first seed. He has only run 682 Final Fantasy Randomizer races since. Needless to say, Czar has seen some stuff as far as this randomizer goes and has been in pretty much any situation possible.
Right, and here we have one old man talking to another, and you can have this loot.
That's another required item checked off of Czar's list to find. The loot is required in these seeds. in order to open the lower Temple of Fiends Revisited.
You know, another interesting possibility is that warp is not available and exit is locked to the white mage, which may also compel you to keep the white mage alive. So I think if I was in either of these runners' shoes, I would be very, very interested in what Elfland had magic-wise before committing to any dungeon dives.
Czar is taking a peek at the Earth Cave level 1 chests. There are a few chests that you can check here. Not so much of interest on the bottom side. There are a couple chests up here on the top side you might take a peek at. Or just one. And it's just 3,500 gold. He's going to go ahead and reset out of that. And that was all for the Earth Cave for now. Let's go ahead and cash in what we have in the Northwest Castle Armory. 3 chests here and some trap tiles. So far, that key has not given us much, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, we have yet to check Marsh Cave, though. That is an option for both of the runners. But also of note is we haven't seen Crescent Lake or Elfland yet. And if there's a canoe in Crescent Lake, well, they're going to have to sail for it.
Czar might be helping us a little bit with some of that information right now. He's taking a run down to the Lufane area. There are some pretty hefty enemies down here, and he is only level 5, so we'll have to be careful.
And Falconic with the 5 gift subs. Thank you very much. Hope you all enjoy your subs to Speed Gaming, and thank you very much to Falconic.
Quad X available here. Black Magic level 3. That's an instant pickup for Czar. Let's take a peek at White Magic now. Cure 3, Heal 3, Harm 4 available. Cure 3 is only going to be White Mage learnable.
Yeah, Harm 4 you can get some mileage out of going through Ice Cave, but still not quite the fade that you're looking for. And no sign of Warp or Exit or the buff spells yet.
So these level 4 spells are very, very interesting. There is level 4 Exit. That is not Red Mage learnable, but I believe it's Red Wizard learnable?
Yes, it is. And Zap and Brack. So the instant death level here at 4. So yeah, the Exit looking like the easily accessible spell. We haven't seen spells from 6, 7, or 8. Czar finds the tail for sale in Elfland as well, and doesn't quite have enough money.
Well, this opens up an interesting question here. If the tail is available and you only need 20,000 for it, and you want to Dan the White Mage, that sort of tells you, hey, maybe you want to go grind for some money here. So that you can pick that tail up early. You've got access to the airship, so you can go visit Bahamut right now.
I would be very, very interested to see how much that dragon armor sells for.
It's got to be tempting for Czar here.
I mean, the problem is you have to commit to that walk all the way back, and that never feels good.
So, overworld enemies outside here, I know that the Zombies will give you a pretty good amount of money up front. I think there are giants here as well. Could you spend 3 to 5 minutes and grind up 20,000?
You could spend that time, but I feel like you can get the levels more efficiently. Like, I don't mind if you've run into the encounter already, and because that's a little bit of a sunk cost, you know. You've already gone through the initial animations and all of that. But actively kind of farming money here, I mean, it's basically the same as an early game pop grind, and with the airship, that doesn't feel good to me.
And Czar is using a palette swap, and so those are frost wolves that you're looking at. Those are not regular Rurus. Those are frost Rurus. And so they are a little bit more stout than the regular wolves that we would normally see. So they go falling to fire 3 pretty easily. It might look like he's thinking about sticking around here. So that's 4,300 gold already. Let's see if he runs away.
Oh, he's definitely hanging out in the area, so...
So he has seen that tail. He knows he wants it. It's going to cost 21,000. These zombies will give a good amount of cash, especially if you get 4 of them like this. Elastoid running through some dragons acting as blockers. I gotta say, with double fire 3 and harm 4, these zombies aren't going to last long.
Yeah, definitely the encounter that you want to see. I think the giants give you more money, but it's just much, much faster with what Czar has available for magic to just take this group out.
So I know we have a lot of people that love to share their opinions in chat. This is a great question to ask the chat room. Would you do what Czar is doing right now, or would you go try to find this money somewhere else? Do we have a lot of individuals that are in this tournament? We have a lot of individuals that watch Final Fantasy Randomizer quite a bit. Who would do what Czar is doing, and who would maybe go, take a walk and head somewhere else? Czar with the double giant encounter. Ooh, you got to think about that quad X. They might be within range.
Yeah, and I also saw that he had the heal staff in the inventory, and that would be one of the things early on that I would be very, very tempted to cash in. In fact, how much did that dragon sword roll, and how much did the were sword roll? I know I would be leaving my fighter and my red mage without weapons, but you've got 4 levels of spells now. I think you can cover for the fighter a little bit.
The responses from chat are rolling in, and I'm seeing a pretty even split from one side to the next. Some people saying, go ahead and stick around and grind. Other people saying, nah, go ahead and go loot something. You need to go grab levels, and you might as well get them while you're moving somewhere. Speaking of moving somewhere, Elastoid is visiting Marsh Cave. Marsh Cave does have an incentive chest at the bottom here. There are 13 chests to check, including 3 that are key locked, and we do have the key. So this is a nice play for Elastoid as well. Czar taken off.
Yeah, so it looks like he was farming up money for silver bracelets before leaving.
Ah.
And here we have the toxic zombies, and oh yeah, ghouls with lit too. So Temple of Fiends is not particularly friendly.
The good old Marsh Caves of old have joined us again. Czar's going to go ahead and dive the first couple levels of Volcano at least here. Got to think an armory check is in play.
Not a bad idea. You've only got 1 loose item, but at the same time, you don't have endgame weapons, and you have yet to find a ribbon, so I have no problem with digging chests out in that situation.
Elastoid noping right out of the Marsh Cave after a couple of deaths to Toxic and Lit 2. He's going to go ahead and try his luck elsewhere. Elastoid down to 3 party members. You have to think or wonder if that is the party composition he's going to go with, making that decision to Dan the White Mage already.
Ooh, Argoyles with Squint, and down goes the fighter for Czar.
Gaia is Lefane today. Boy, I'll tell you, Edge, at the beginning of this seed, we've seen a lot of really rude enemies right up front. Here's Fires with Fire 3. That's thematic.
Well, I mean, at this point, might as well just let's just go to Ice Cave. We've seen everything else that's awful. What could possibly be in there?
I hope we get the answer to that. Czar is back in Caneria, bringing up Fiesel the Fighter to bring his party back up to 4 members.
And need to wait for the next slide to come in before I can see how much money Elastoid has banked away.
Czar also ready for his smooth, easy trip through Marsh Cave.
Oh, Czar, having looted a lot more chests, I think has 3 pro rings on him, so that toxic shouldn't be nearly as brutal. And if he gets to the bottom floor, that particular group that kept wiping Elastoid doesn't show up down there. So
here come those chests to open now at the bottom of Marsh Cave here. It's got some sickly looking mucks. On tracking this evening, we have a new tracker tonight, but you would never know it from how much on the ball he is. We have Wob on tracking tonight, clicking all of the buttons and making everything look pretty for us. So Wob, thanks for joining us this evening.
yeah, and it looks like Elastoid is going to commit to running this without exit access, so that is another advantage for Czar with the party composition.
Only 2 wizards for Czar today. There is an incentive item hiding behind these 2 wizards.
Wizards
and
with
they have trance, of course.
the junior sorcerers passing on their tricks here, but they're not very much HP either. So, and there's a king hat.
2 vanilla. Reroll. While Czar is here, he's going to go ahead and take a look at these extra chests that we relatively rarely get to see on screen. A Pro Cape is a very nice pickup, especially when you have 3 mages in the party.
And Elastoid is making another run to Leifin. Not sure. Oh, he wants exit.
So thanks everybody for joining us here at the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament 2019. This is the first week of Swiss activity. We've got Czar versus Elastoid tonight. Both of them are winless, but also not lossless at this point either. But one is going to come away with a victory tonight. We have 5 weeks of the flags that you're watching, and a whole lot of these seeds are going to be broadcast here on Speed Gaming, on our other sister channel, Randomania. And so if you like what you see, you're going to have a whole host of seeds to be watching throughout April and into May. Czar running into a 4-pack of wizards, and we know that they have trance, and so this is an unpleasant possibility here.
And importantly, Czar finding in one of the key lock chests the power gauntlet. So Temper being missing at the moment, that power gauntlet is going to be a big factor in this seed.
As we watch Czar try to navigate through these wizards, we'll give you a little bit of information about how we got started tonight. The king gave the crystal, and Sarah gave us... Boy, what did Sarah give us? Hold on. Sarah gave us the Mystic Key, that's correct. That opened up a whole bunch of chests. We had a ship in a box right at the beginning of this seed that gave both of these runners access to pretty much the entirety of the world, because we found Floater from that crystal almost immediately from Matoya, and it's been off to the races ever since. We still have one required progression item, we believe, somewhere loose in the world that we are going to have to find. And that's sort of how these seeds can sometimes play out. There's a lot of incentive items in a lot of places that items are going to be, but then there is going to be one item somewhere in the world that is going to be critical to find.
Czar almost done with Marsh Cave now, and good timing too, because he's about to run out of resources. Dipping into those fire threes now to get through this unrunnable, and with one more chest to go, should be just fine.
So spells of note that we have seen, I know that we have seen Cure 4. I know that we have Exit. I know that we have Life 2 sitting in level 5. There's some black magic spells, though, of some note and some importance that we have not yet seen.
Yeah, no temper, no fast, no lit 3, no nuke, no fade. So there's still lots of stuff on the table to find.
So that for Elastoid is a possible concern going down the stretch here. Elastoid has already class changed and has one red mage at the bottom of the party there, masquerading as Terra. But what sort of access are you going to have to those critically important spells down the stretch here?
It all depends on where they land at level 6. Because if they're at 7 or 8, well, 8 you can just forget it, and 7 you're not going to get a lot of charges by the end of the game. So that could be a distinct advantage for Czar.
Czar finishing up checking the top side of Marsh Cave here. Just a couple of chests here. There's a very nice black shirt pickup. So next game we will play with chat here is everybody predict where you think the single remaining loose item is hiding today. You have many, many options. It could be Sea Shrine. It could be Sky Castle. It could be Volcano. Lots of places for you to go ahead and make your predictions now. Down goes the kindly old king, who certainly totally wasn't a dark elf or anything. And Czar is off.
And Elastoid is going to do a volcano dive, while Czar is going to go back to Temple of Fiends just to make sure that nothing important was there. Since there are a lot of chests that, or a lot of players like to check these chests in the early game. Czar has no idea how nasty Temple of Fiends is, but at this point is more than prepared.
He's going to go ahead and save that cash he just picked up by exiting back out. Back in he goes now to check the right side. Elastoid meeting the fires. Let's see if the fires have any sort of greeting for him. Oh my gosh, they have Dazzle. Lovely.
It's better than Fire 3.
Yep, there's Fire 3. Sorry, Elastoid.
And I feel like Elastoid is just trying to get a couple of levels in kind of a cheeky way. See if one of these tiles you can just get some good turn order, some good rolls, and dodge that Fire 3. Czar's going to pick up his Opal Bracelet, and he'll be happy to see that.
The positive here for Czar is that Czar still has an exit charge. Elastoid didn't have one of those when he was trying to dig that Opal Bracelet out. Elastoid still trying to work on these fires. Get some levels the hard way here. Oh, we're about to get our wish to see what we have in Ice Cave today.
Incentivized location number 2, and with no warp on the table, it's going to take a little longer, but at least Czar has exit, so not a whole full loop through here.
Trance Wizards doing their best to make Czar stick around and dance a while.
He also gets the jump on a pack of ghosts, so in pretty good shape going into the floater room. And
So Edge,
I was gonna say, Elastoid is just committing to getting some levels off of these fires. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, we've seen a few of these races now, and I know that we have practiced these seeds for a little bit coming up. I know that you have your own race coming up here in a few days. As you watch these races, has anything surprised you that or has stuck out to you about how these seeds tend to progress down the stretch as you think about how you route these races? Has any of these races surprised you in any way?
So I think the thing that surprised me the most is that despite how many twists and turns there are, that a lot of players are finishing these in under 2 hours, and even some of the newer players. So, I mean, I think that's a credit to kind of the new batch of players that have come in. They've been taking this this flag set is not trivial, and they've been putting up some really good times. So, I mean, a lot of the routing looks pretty clean. Sometimes it just comes down to how fast you make certain decisions. But the decisions, when I see them being made, I can usually agree with a lot of them.
I completely agree. I think that the new crop of runners that we have that are joining us for this spring tournament are going to make a lot of noise in this tournament and take down some of the old farts like us from time to time. We saw it in the last tournament. We're probably going to see it again in this tournament. That's a credit to individuals that are just jumping in with both feet and having fun and learning. It's a credit to people like Moist Mogwai, who's Mama Duck, that has helped usher and welcome in new people into this community, making sure that they feel comfortable, making sure that they have all the resources that they need. And then before you know it, they're beating the old guard, people like myself or you, Edge, or Czar, or Elastoid. And so that's why these tournaments are so much fun. I think we have almost, I think half of the tournament audience crowd this year is new within 3 or 4 months. It's pretty cool.
Czar not finding too much with the Frost Dragon chests. Gonna head down and see what these Frost Wolves are guarding. And Elastoid is doing a bit of an Agama grind here, so definitely doesn't feel comfortable with the levels in hand. And I think along with this grind kind of indicates that he wants to take on Gary.
Yeah, I think you're right here. Elastoid's stream tonight is playing a little bit of a slideshow, and so I don't think we're going to catch all of these chests. We're watching him now run backwards out of the volcano, so I must think that he found something of interest. Meanwhile, over on Czar's side, Czar is having a run-in with some sorcerers that will just not let him go. This is an unrunnable encounter, and it looks like Czar doesn't have a whole lot in the way of resources, and so we're going to start using the power bonk a little bit earlier than we might normally see.
It fails to drop a confuse on these sorcerers here. And Elastoid, I think, lost one of the fighters, so not sure if he's setting up for a two-man from here on.
Czar finally takes down one of those sorcerers. There goes a second one. He's got all of his party members still up, but they don't look very healthy. A lot of poison to take care of after this encounter is over. I see Falconic in chat with a perfect comment saying that it's pretty telling when the 1-0 group feels safer than the 0-1 group at this point, and that's kind of how this tournament has opened up. There have been a lot of real close matches and some upsets, and there's some scary people floating down there at 0-1. And so stay tuned, everybody. This is going to be a fun tournament for the next several weeks.
Czar digging out the defense sword from the Frostwolf chest. So really, really good stuff. And a Sun Sword as well. So Ice Cave paying off big time here.
Yeah, that's nice. Sword upgrades galore. Once you catch that tail in, that defense is going to be beautifully put to use as well.
Speaking of another upgrade, here's a white shirt.
So lots of value here in Ice Cave. No incentive item yet.
Oh, and here's an ambush though, and Czar just takes the reset. So loses all of that progress going through Ice Cave, but he knows where all of the significant treasure chests are at this point.
Yep, so it'll be a quick run through.
And speaking of getting run through, Elastoid just lost I think he lost a heap of levels to some Gur-Imps and Gur-Wolves.
So that reset out for Czar felt maybe a touch premature to me. I might have waited for 1 or 2 rounds to see whether or not I could get out of that. But on the flip side, I think Czar also knew he was out of steam as far as resources goes, and sitting there through 7 wizards when your party refuses to cooperate, this may have been the faster decision.
It also depends on what's next in the skill list as well. Definitely, you don't want to wait through that fight if they have something that's going to kill you, or they have something that's not going to kill you but just take much longer. Like, let's follow up Trance with Stinger and have that echo through your party multiple times.
I see chat commenting about the importance of saving as soon as you get out of a dungeon. That is definitely something we have seen pop up a couple of times in this tournament already. Extraneous movement, especially while on the overworld, as soon as you just came out of a dungeon, can be hazardous to your health.
Well, Elastoid finds an Excal in the
Nice.
in the treasury, but yeah, and to add on to that, thanks to the Zozo Melman flags being on this time around, make sure you save before going into Melman too.
On the flip side, Zozo Melmond, if you find it early, not the worst place in the world to pick up a couple of levels if you get a 6-pack of raids and they're easy to take down.
Yeah, but it always feels bad when you get a 9-pack of pirates.
Yeah, that's the Womp Womp prize in Zozo Melmond. Who wants to fight 9 more pirates? No one. So both of our runners here have been put on their back foot a little bit. Czar had to reset out of Ice Cave. Elastoid wiped near the volcano. And so this is going to add a little bit to time here.
And we have a question in chat regarding Zozo Melmond and what it is. You can get encounters in Melmond now, so watch where you step. Any of those sand tiles, they can turn into a very, very angry pack of ghosts or pirates.
It's one of those flags that make me convinced that our devs have a sick sense of humor, but it's a great flag set to turn on.
No turning back the clock, unfortunately. Just danger at every turn.
Czar is back on the ice cave floor that gifted him the 7 wizards. This time we only get 5. Czar thinking about how he wants to deal with this.
And he's just going to try to book it.
Still got the fighter up. Well, Poison Touch is better. Ooh, wow, they have Blizzard. Okay.
Yeah, so that was
Blizzards
the
came into
follow
play.
up that I was wondering about, and if you stagger Trance with Blizzard, this is just the, and I think he's not going to get out of this one.
And Czar says, I'll try later. I gotta say, Edge, the mix of magic that Czar had at that point is not at all conducive to taking down packs of wizards. Trance or no, at this point, we don't have. I don't think we've seen any lightning spells. We don't have Fade. We don't have Nuke. Fire and Ice are really not gonna cut it here.
Yeah, and more importantly, they don't have very much in the way of levels too. And Trance doesn't feel as bad when you have the magic resist of level 20, but at level 10. Yeah, your mages are probably going to get paralyzed within 2 castings.
So Czar's going to go ahead and give Castle Ordeal a try instead. We'll have to deal with some shuffled pillars, but there is an incentive item at the top of this dungeon.
And this should be a lot more doable for Czar. There's a lot of undead running around in here. The Mancats certainly are annoying to deal with. But with lots of charges of Fire 3 and Harm 4, Czar could definitely get some levels going through here and even burn some charges on the way out on the Zombie Dragon tile.
Also 9 chests to check up here at the top of Castle Ordeal. One of those will be an incentive item. Elastoid finding EXPs, still in the volcano. Props to Elastoid for stubbornness.
And yeah, if either runner finds an early ribbon, they'll be in pretty good shape. Oh, there's apparently ogres with quad X, so that's. I was wondering if they had Death Touch, but no, they just erased you from existence.
There's some cash for Czar. We're opening up some chests we haven't seen yet. Looks like some money and a little bit of housing so far.
Medusa pack is, you can easily gun that one down, but Czar's just going to leave that and the Gargoyles alone. So Opal Bracelet, there's a Thor Hammer, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, especially with the wizards that we were having issues with earlier. That Thor Hammer and its casts of lightning too can be very useful. TNT is the incentive item here, and it does look like Czar is going to play with these zombie dragons. They do have cremate though, and so this is not a risk-free encounter.
They also seem like they have a lot of health, but Czar does have some heal 3 charges, so I wouldn't blame him if he wants to take another shot at this.
Meanwhile, Elastoid finding Mage Staff here in the volcano.
Here, you hang on to this. We promise it'll be useful later. And I think notably, both runners are kind of struggling to pick up levels at this point. Czar, I know we're about 48 minutes into the game, and I don't think either player is past level 15 yet.
From what we've seen on Elastoid's side, he has not picked up anything of too much import. There's a couple rooms that we've missed just due to some streaming issues.
And Elastoid is running a little bit low on these heal potions here. And Czar is going to be the first person to take the trip over to the waterfall area and see what is for sale at Crescent Lake.
And there will be some confused old men wandering around, no longer in circles. They will have a incentive item.
Rune Sword not worth very much at White Magic. Level 6, not super exciting, so I've got Fast and Temper at 6. And
Ouch.
so it looks like Fast will be Red Wizard learnable, but Temper is off the table for Elastoid.
So finding that power bonk is going to be critical for Elastoid. And you're not going to get a whole ton, even for Czar's side, you're not going to get a whole ton of charges out of level 6 if you need to use Fast and Temper there. So what are you going to have by endgame? Maybe 5 charges at level 6, if you're lucky?
Elastoid might not have any charges if he commits to this double fighter grind, although I can't really blame him if he thinks he's not going to have access to it. And chances are good, having not seen Crescent Lake, that, yeah, you're not going to have Fast or Temper. Might as well dump all those levels into 2 fighters and use spellcasting items.
I've got a question for chat as we watch Czar dive this waterfall. We've got Fast and Temper at level 6. Can somebody take a look and let me know when you're going to get 6 charges of level 6 magic with a Black Mage? My guess is that it is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a seed where you want to have the power gauntlet for sure. This is also a seed that would favor a 2-person approach with the Black Mage, just because I think 2-man is the only way you're going to get a ton of levels or charges for level 6.
Mm-hmm. So by process of elimination here, we are running out of spaces for key items to be hiding here. Don't believe we've seen a chime yet. That's something that we're going to need to find. Or a cube.
I started playing fast and loose with the heals here, but he's going to run into Quad X Town.
So chat helping me out saying that a Black Mage or Black Wizard will need to get to level 30 in order to get 6 charges of level 6 magic. I'm thinking 1 charge of Fast each for Kraken, Tiamat, and Chaos, and 1 charge of Temper each. That's a high amount of levels to go get for that Black Mage, though. Czar using Zap to good use there, taking down some mud goals. And he gets greeted with 3 more of them.
And I mean, that's one of the reasons why you pick up Zap is you can get a surprising amount of mileage out of it late game as well as early game. The mud goals and the rock goals, they don't really care too much about defending against time magic, so just throwing a Zap in there goes a long way.
The magic not working out for Czar again here, trying to figure out how to take down mud goals that don't want him to leave. Get to use all of those tasty level 3 magic charges to little to no effect here. Elastoid, meanwhile, looks like he is done playing with the volcano for a little bit. got some levels, got some resources out of there. His party's hanging out at around level 16 or so at this point. Let's take a peek at Czar next time we get a chance to. The white mage standing alone here. Oh, boy. Well, Mudgulls have glare.
Oh, well, what doesn't have instant death in this seed?
What a delightful seed that was rolled today. Thanks to Speed Gaming for setting us up with this. If we're late, it's the Speed Gaming help's fault.
Right, and another dive into Marsh Cave, and we'll see if Elastoid finds that very pivotal a very pivotal power gauntlet, and Czar's going to take another run through the through the waterfall. So there's been quite a lot in the way of wipes in the seed so far.
I have a feeling we're going to hear some choice words from Czar, who already is suspicious of numbers. I'm sure he thinks that the RNG here has been rigged.
I was going to say, like, when are we not going to hear some choice words from Czar, though? It seems like if there's anything bad in the seed, he's going to be the one to find.
Elastoid digging out those chests here at the bottom of Marsh Cave, going to pick up that pro cape. All right, Czar is close. Let's see if he can get through this. Actually, he wasn't as close as I thought he was. Hanging out here at level 12, and so Elastoid does have an advantage as far as levels goes. That's by dint of only having 3 members up to Czar's 4. We're going to try the wizard staff now on Mudgulls.
Well, I mean, I applaud the effort, but it's very difficult to confuse mud.
I'm actually looking it up as we speak. That was a 1.17% chance of hitting. Czar is pulling out all the stops here.
Should have just gone for the rub at that point.
And this is the encounter that Czar did not want to see. I'm almost positive it happened in the exact same place that he had it last time. There's one zap going off. There's a second zap. Zap is really his best option here. About 45% chance to hit. Yep, there it goes. Czar getting his way into the Whiz Mummy Cockatrice encounter. That is an unappealing palette there that we just got to watch. Another pro ring for Czar.
Stacking up those pro rings, and what does Mr. Robot have?
Ah. So back to Zozo Melmond we go. There's a Zeus Gauntlet. Those wizards are looking less and less threatening by the moment. And Czar immediately casts Exit.
Well, you have a Thor Hammer and you have a Zeus Gauntlet. I have to say, double fighter going through Sea Shrine looks pretty appealing right about now.
Elastoid out of the Marsh Cave. Off to his next destination, which looks to be Astos. Czar is going to go ahead and translate this slab right away. Ooh, not a whole lot there to buy in the armor shop.
All right, and what is the toga party gonna have today?
Lots of options here. We haven't seen the ruby, we haven't seen the rod, we haven't seen the cube, and it's the cube. Interesting, but we can't actually get to Sky Fortress because I don't believe we've seen a chime yet.
Oh, we have level 8 life and we have level 8 warp. So,
it's brutal.
And Czar's going to go back for that tail right now.
Yep, it's time. Elastoid getting the bad news that Fast and Temper are both sitting there at level 6, and your white mage is dead, and your red mage can only learn one of those.
And Elastoid with the custom text shout out. What am I doing in this game?
You appear to be walking aimlessly in circles.
Well, I mean, that's how I spend most afternoons.
Yep, there he is again.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I think the slide stopped right there, just to make sure that everybody could see it. Back to the action now. Elastoid's going to go ahead and try to make his way through the waterfall. Of course, we know that unrunnable mud goals with glare await him. Czar is going to go ahead and visit the King of the Dragons, Bahamut. Get a class change.
All right, and after having that dragon armor for 40 minutes, he can finally put it on. But it is quite the piece of gear, that is for sure.
Best armor you can find. 42 defense. Will take 10 off of your evade. Resist fire, ice, lightning. So there's not a whole lot of elemental spells out there that are going to scare you anymore. So we talked a little bit about Czar earlier. Elastoid, one of our most colorful community members, actually comes into this race with a bit of a better SRL rating than Czar does. Elastoid sitting in 19th position on the SRL standings with a rating of 526. Has only been running Final Fantasy Randomizer for about 9 months. Has proven himself to be a dangerous competitor day in and day out, no matter what the flag set is. And so there's the chime on Czar's side. This is turning out exactly like I thought it was going to be. This is a pretty close contest. And I think down the stretch here, it's going to be that one loose item that may prove a difference here, whoever finds it first.
Oh, we'll see. It could be the ruby and it could be the ribbon. And, either one of those is definitely less of a swing. But there's the ribbon, so we know that one's not going to be loose.
There is one incentive ribbon in the pool. That was it. That means that if we find another ribbon, that is not the incentivized item, because there are 3 in the game. So a lock on the black magic side. Level 7 wall for white magic here in non-rec. Do not believe that that Czar has Oxyale here yet, so we won't be diving Sea Shrine quite yet.
Nope, that is the bottle turn in, which not sure if he remembers that he's done that yet. If it's still in his inventory, he should be fine, but a lot of times you can pop that bottle early to make your inventory management a little easier, and then forget about it for a while.
And we see Czar falling victim to something that a lot of us runners in this flag set are doing. It can be deceptively difficult to remember which town is where. You would think it would not be that hard. There are only 8 of them in the game, and one of them is Caneria, and Caneria is always Caneria, but boy, is it difficult to remember where the other 7 are if you're not taking notes.
Yeah, that is taking notes is definitely something. Highly encourage anyone else that is running these flags, because it's any sort of shuffle, especially if you've been playing more than one of these seeds in a day, and yeah, you need to keep track of it. It's just going to get mixed.
There's the Oxy Ale for Czar. He can head back to Onrak now and attempt the Sea Shrine if he wishes to do so. Looks pretty tempting. 32 chests in Sea Shrine across the 2 sides here, but Czar is going to go ahead and take a peek into Volcano first. This is a smart play, Edge. I can't argue with this. There's 30 chests sitting here. Czar has not been here yet. It's something you can full clear without having to worry about whether or not you have this rod or that Oxy Ale. Pretty reasonable play here by Czar.
Yeah, it's not often that you can finish out a seed with having not cleared some of the chests in Volcano. So, and it's pretty efficient as long as you can get those out of the way chests without taking trips back, like with Warp or Exit.
So we're a little bit over an hour in here. Thanks everybody for watching us here on Speed Gaming Prime. We think we're about halfway through this seed between Czar and Elastoid. It's hard to tell yet because we don't really know what the end game has in store for us. But as we stand at this point, I think this is still anybody's race. Both of these runners have advantages and disadvantages, both in party composition, places that they have been, and the way that this magic especially sort of unspooled in this seed. Edge, if you could give an advantage to anybody at this point, would you be comfortable making that call, or do you think this is too close at this stage?
I think it's a little bit too close. Czar definitely has a party comp that's, I don't know, I would say a little bit safer with access to life magic, but Elastoid has been quietly stacking up a lot in the way of levels. So if he can keep that trend going, he might have, a pretty beefy party. And if you've got Cure 4 on the Knights, you've got a pretty good shot at getting through even the nastiest of Tophers.
And we're seeing almost the exact opposite of what we saw about a half hour ago, where Czar was struggling through Ice Cave and Elastoid was in the Volcano, and now we see the settings have swapped here. Elastoid's going to be the one to deal with the fun and excitement of the Trance Wizards on your screen on the right-hand side. We did not get to the bottom of this dungeon, if I recall correctly, and so we still don't know what the incentive item down here in Ice Cave has for us. Meanwhile, over on Czar's side, taking out a random Agama that he ran into while diving lower Volcano. There are a few chests here that we weren't able to see just because Elastoid's stream was not playing nicely. Those are our giants on Czar's screen, even though they're green.
So Elastoid seems to have escaped Wizard Town and is now going to check out these chests in Ice Cave.
Head up to the upper right-hand side here for Czar. I don't believe that we checked those 2 chests that he just opened. There was nothing of import there. We'll take a look at these ones up here on the upper right-hand side of this volcano floor.
Paralysis touch on the R Hydras, so that's going to be a fun encounter in Sky.
Ugh. $10,000 gold and a heal pot. So volcano not showing us much so far. I think of the seeds I've watched of this flag set so far, Edgeworth, this is probably one of the least friendly I've seen so far.
Yeah, and I think it comes down less to routing and more of the enemy spell distribution. There have been a lot of spells early on that have been difficult to mitigate without access to ribbons or extra levels.
Czar looking like he's going to stick around here and play with some Agamas for a little bit. Getting 945 experience apiece on these. I'm doing a quick count here. I think he is either very close to or at 12 incentive items, which is 1.5 times experience boost once you find 12 of those.
Yeah, and that would really be the only time I would justify a grind is after you get that bonus. Or if things are just so horrible that you need the magic resistance.
I see chat playing along with Agama facts. Empty Eye saying an Agama is worth precisely 1,000, I'm going to call that a lizard, in both experience and gold. Drumboardist retorting that Agamas smell vaguely of baked bread. Drumboardist, you now owe me dinner.
All right, Elastoid dealing with the unrunnable sorcerers.
Watching Elastoid stream is a great way to just watch some of the individual sprite work and animations and in effect here. It looks like the sorcerer has been targeted.
All right, so there's the defense sword on the second knight.
So Edge, Czar's committing to a grind here. How high do you take this?
Were
you to do this? That is.
Were I to do this, it really all depends on what Czar is going for. The the magic breakpoint for endgame swings with the Excal is 29, but I don't think he's going to take his entire party to 29 here. I think just enough where he feels comfortable fighting carry on the way out.
Meanwhile, over on the Elastoid side, he is on the floor of doom, or at least it was the floor of Czar's doom. This is where the 5, 6, or 7 packs of wizards can show up here. And right on cue. Ooh, he gets a fighter away. He's going to go ahead and swing. So there goes one wizard. Here comes the blizzards now. Wow, is that just a... is this a script with only 2 spells on it?
It seems to be that's looping over pretty quickly, but if you can get those physicals out, these guys don't have very much health. Oh,
There's Gaze.
there's so the paralysis train rolls on. But if you can survive the blizzard, you seem to be in good shape, and the armor doing work for Elastoid. So we can finally get to see what's in these chests here.
Oh, wow. Are you kidding me?
Okay. All right. Well, 24 is good enough now, I think.
So Czar dove Ice Cave at least 3 times trying to get down to those chests, and it's hiding Masa, and the rod is down here. That opens up the entirety of Earth Cave.
So yeah, that is 100% required, and what have we got left in the way of items? Have we found the chime yet?
Chime has not been seen. Ruby has not been seen. I don't believe Adamant has been seen. So there's a couple fetches there that we can look for.
All right, our tracker.
Oh wait, we do have Chime.
Chime is there.
Well, Ruby turns into Adamant, or Adamant will turn into Ruby, which needs to turn into something. I guess you could just have the Ruby at the end of the chain, correct?
Yeah, the
just
Ruby
feed the Titan and be done with it.
Can definitely dead end. Although it would be funny if the loose item is in the trove.
The way it's looking right now, though, we have loot, we have key, we have rod, we have floater, we have chime, we have cube, we have oxyale, which means everything's open. I think we're done.
And Czar is going to start digging Sky out now. And this might be a chance for Elastoid to catch up exploration-wise. And Czar's got to be happy finding his favorite sword, the Vorpal, hanging out in that treasure chest.
So Masa, Vorpal, and Excal, and Defense have all been cited so far, so we have definitely some things to swing here at the end of the game. Still only 1 ribbon has been cited, though. That's something of a concern for later.
Sometimes that's all you get, though, and we'll see if Czar decides to dig out any more chests on the way through here. It certainly looks like the ruby, or excuse me, the adamant leading to the ruby is the loose item.
Greater than, less than room coming up now for Czar. This is going to be 10 chests to check here after we get through this Catman encounter. Elastoid is back in the volcano after a couple abortive attempts there. There's a ribbon. There's a second one.
Yeah, so Czar finds loose ribbon number 2. And we'll see if he keeps digging. It takes you quite a lot of time to dig out Sky. And even though that ribbon certainly is going to be helpful, I'm not sure it's going to be helpful enough for the whole time investment if you commit to clearing all of this. And picks up a gold bracelet as well.
Elastoid is going to go ahead and take a peek at the red dragon chest.
Yeah, not necessarily a bad idea. You still don't know if the loose item is significant or not, and it's good. Those 3 encounters are a good experience. So it's, I know you're investing time encounter wise to check those chests, but all of those are pretty efficient fights.
It's a 5 Whiz Mummy encounter. You're going to get some good EXP off of this mob here. Question in chat from Mr. Crimson asking if this is a short Temple of Fiends Revisited. It is not. It is the regular Temple of Fiends Revisited. We're going to see every single floor tonight.
And Elastoid currently fighting Team Rocket right now. And we'll see how long it takes for them to blast up.
Or for trouble.
And not very often.
Czar now nearing the Blue Dragon. This is a possible grind spot if the Blue Dragon has low HP. There's 97. Oh, no. Nope, we went the other direction. That was a hit for 500 and the Blue Dragon's still sitting there.
It is a very large Blue Dragon, but seems to be okay now.
Czar getting up into Sky Fortress. There's a lot of great, tasty encounters here. Okay, men, just 2 of them, probably not one of the ones he's looking for, but there are eyes up here. The mana cores give a lot of experience. Gurnagas and heirs are good for you. Evil men, there's a Gurnaga now.
It is, this is a scary looking Gurnaga. Looks like a bottle of ketchup exploded in there.
It's a little peaked. Czar's still looking for stuff, though.
Yeah, I think he really is committing to finding that loose item, and oh boy, it's gonna be bad.
You know, he does not know where Rod is, and so opening all these chests makes sense. He has been to Ice Cave a couple of times. It was not very friendly to him. He probably doesn't wish to go back anytime soon. Here's a Bane Sword. It's a pretty color.
Bane Sword pretty solid. In the free chests, going through C, Elastoid finds the Aegis Shield, so when you can kind of cobble together Aegis Shield, Pro Ring, and the Dragon Armor, that is a pretty solid set of resists for the end game.
First floor done for Czar here. We'll get to the star-shaped floor next. I'll be interested to see if he opens up any of these chests. It's great to be here. There's some good encounters here, but boy, does it take a long time to traverse this entire floor and pick up the 1 chest here and 2 over there.
It all depends on whether or not you feel like you need the levels out of this, and whether you're still looking for things. It's a good combination for say a 2 fighter or a fighter red mage. You can get through a lot of these fights very, very quickly.
Does look like he's going to take a peek at some of these. There's quad mana cores. This is a good fight for experience, and Czar's going to go ahead and oblige. Ooh, slow 2 coming out.
So Elastoid is going to dig these chests out now. So it seems like both of the runners committing to finding that loose item, and as soon as they find the adamant and sees what it leads to, they're not going to be particularly happy about things.
I'm going to trust Wob on this one. Wob, our tracker, has been on point this evening, and from what it looks like to us, yeah, these last 2 items can't lead to anything terribly interesting. Ooh, sea snakes showing toxic.
Well, there's 4 toxics in the pool, and Seeing any one of them before you have death resistance always feels bad.
Elastoid has more of a complete picture here, I think, of how the incentive items have worked its way out. He also has Power Bonk, while Czar does not. And so Elastoid's digging for some stuff, and I'm not sure what it is that he's looking for at this point. He has Masa. Oh, I see what it is. I bet he's looking for ribbons.
There is an Opal Shield, which is not a bad find towards the end of the game. If he is continuing to dig for ribbons, this might take a while.
He has Slab, but he has not cashed in the translated Slab yet, so that's part of progression that he has not finished up yet. So onto the third floor now for Czar here shortly in Sky Fortress. If you like War Mech, everyone, we have seen some War Mech encounters already in the first week of this tournament that will set your hair on fire. There's a whole host of really good runners that are proudly hanging on War Mech's wall from earlier, myself included, although I wouldn't call myself a good runner.
He doesn't even need to roll 220 to kill you. You can just get the first turn nuke or nuclear. So, yeah, he's very, very scary, and also, just happens to like harassing runners who haven't healed.
Started with Lord Fizzlebeef, poked the robot and died. And then the following morning, I died to a War Mech encounter. That evening, Minochi85, the Buzzsaw, lost all of his teeth to a War Mech encounter. It's been a horrifying trip so far this week.
Yeah, I think he got me in the showcase race too. So.
Yep, there's ribbon number 3 sitting here in Sky Fortress.
So Czar has all of the ribbons. Elastoid will not be getting any by continuing to search where he's searching.
Czar almost done checking here. Elastoid about to take on Kraken, who is E Honda.
We've got Piston Honda from Punch Out, so he's gonna see how many hits Kraken Honda has today.
I got the Honda part right.
I think it's Braxis that has the E Honda.
Ah, okay.
Alright, Czar is about to finish his full clear and is into the maze now, while Elastoid is saving up after and heading into RD.
Time to get those Bless RNGs out in chat. If you would like to see a War Mech encounter with Czar today, War Mech has obliged many times already this tournament. I like what Future Sight has to say instead. Bless RNGing for nachos. Nachos are a great encounter to find here on the Bridge of Destiny. Here on Czar's side is an encounter that is absolutely no fun to ever have to deal with. It's air, and you have to stick around and fight it.
Swinging at air never feels good. Although there are the rare seeds where they somehow roll less evasion, and boy, does that encounter feel. Question in chat, for someone that's never played or watched FF1, what is Warmech? Warmech is a giant robot of death that you very, very rarely encounter on the screen Czar is at right now. And I don't think it's quite 3 and 256. I think it's...
I think it's 3 and 64
yeah,
in
3
the
and 64.
original game.
So, yeah, and he can be... in vanilla, he is arguably harder than any of the bosses in the game. And he has the potential to be just as difficult in the randomizer. So, yeah, let's hope we see one.
This also happens to be the one floor in the entire game with, I believe, the highest encounter rate. Is that correct, Edge?
Yeah, it is by far the highest encounter rate, even higher than the air floor in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
So Czar making his way through that air encounter. We've got a few more steps here on the Bridge of Destiny. Ooh, okay, these nachos don't look very appetizing today.
No, that's not guacamole, that's for sure.
Down go the nachos for 2,500 experience. Czar is almost there. Find some more unappealing food.
Yeah, it's like he's crawling his way through a Chipotle dumpster.
Ooh. Makes it all the way to the Orb of Air, where Tiamat awaits. So thank you to everyone for the bless RNGs on Czar's side. Warmech has not graced us with his amazing robotic presence yet, but we still have Elastoid that needs to go across that Bridge O Destiny.
And Czar is going to stack some offense here, although Tiamat did punch for a non-trivial amount, so see what Czar's next move.
Getting out some stacks of Invis 2. I saw Xanth, the Black Wizard, queue up a temper charge. There that goes. That's going to land on Fiesel the Knight. That results in 8 hits for 617 damage, and so we are in the correct direction here. Fiesel swings again. That was 1,259 damage. Tiamat's not going to stand up to that. Czar lighting his second orb to pull even with Elastoid here. Couple missing pieces here yet for Czar. Czar has a couple of incentive items that he has not cashed in. That will give him a more complete picture here. This has allowed Elastoid to eke back into this. So I still think now we're an hour and 35 minutes in. Here goes Czar now to the ice cave. I still don't think we have a clear leader at this point, Edge.
Well, this is the move that Czar needed to make, and I think once he picks up that rod, All he has to do is go mode a couple of very quick dungeons, so he should be in reasonably good shape.
Meanwhile, it does look like Elastoid is starting to skip chests now here in the Earth Cave. Perhaps feeling at an hour and 35 minutes in, you have 2 orbs lit. It's time to be done, whether you're ready or not.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's just completely forgotten about the slab turn-in, or thinks the ribbon is the loose item.
Mm-hmm. Sonic Logan, good question. Asking who's ahead right now. It is a little bit unclear. Czar has a lead with progression. Has 3 ribbons to Elastoid 0. There's Death masquerading as Lich today on Elastoid side. Elastoid has no ribbons, but has all of his incentive checks pretty much done, except for turning in the slab to grab a ribbon over from the Lupa Lupa people. Long story short, it's still a little unclear who's has a clear lead here.
It looks like Elastoid is heading back to Elfland. We'll see what he's got planned there.
Believe there was a good spell that was in 4th slot of level 4 for the red mage.
And he's getting he could get heal 3 for the knights as well, but
looks like that was it.
Yeah, maybe he did not remember it correctly. Czar picks up, I believe that's the defense sword hanging out down there. So if he's still digging chests, he's going to go back for that white shirt as well, undoubtedly. And Czar picks up the Mazmune, so pretty well kitted out for this this run here. I'm gonna throw that on the white.
Yep, that's got to feel real good for Czar. One eyeball coming right up, and goodbye. Another place to stick around and grind if you want to, but I can't see Czar wanting to do that at an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, he's already
Although he might
invested
make
his
a liar
time
out of me here.
Unless he wants to hit that 24 mark for the Mazmune, which wouldn't surprise me.
Elastoid working his way through Mirage Tower, taking down a blue dragon. Will go into Sky Castle next. Sky Fortress, Sky Cave, whatever you want to call it. It's level 23 I saw in the mages. Looked like Zara's done.
And Elastoid doesn't seem to be stopping for any chests, so this clear of Sky is going to be a lot faster. Meanwhile, Czar is winding his way through Earth right now.
Elastoid with some weight errors on the right-hand side of your screen here. He's already into the maze in Sky Fortress here, and so bless RNGs. We'll see if they work this time. And if we get to see the encounter, if Warmech does come out.
All right, right, he's gotta he takes some shots at air and is just straight up not hitting. There we go.
Czar making quick work of Earth Cave here. Bridge of Destiny on Elastoid side. And the stream dies. Let's all pretend that he's facing Warmech right now. Oh, nope, it's 4 Red Hydras instead.
Yeah, just dealing with those paralysis fire hydrants, so no biggie.
It's a healthier looking Naocho. Boy, you can tell that both runners have just put their foot on the gas to go ahead and get through this encounter. There's an enemy from another game making a sneak peek.
It's not the dragon I was expecting. And wow, just that is a stomp on that red mage. But,
ouch. Elastoid lighting orb number 3 only has 1 left to go.
Yeah, and stopping off in Melmond, and you're not really going to res anybody here.
I gotta wonder if this is where the slab turn-in happens now. If he is remembered. Up comes the red mage now. 1 dungeon left for Elastoid now. Grabbing Cure 4 on those knights, that feels great.
All right, and here we have Lich while Elastoid is sailing into Temple of Fiends, and yeah, he had carry done as well, so that is
that was
4 orbs.
Yeah, that's one of those things that unfortunately we didn't get to see on screen because of the slideshow nature of Elastoid's stream from time to time, but it does look like he has all 4 orbs lit. And down into the lower depths of Temple of Fiends Revisited we go.
And, well, there's a pack of gas dragons. You feel like you need the experience? Elastoid's going to go for it. And they don't seem to be they don't seem to have a lot of health, so this is going to be a lot of well-needed experience.
Wow, 8,200 experience there. Phantom says hello today, does what the Phantom usually does, and hits you for about 200 damage. Just enough to scare you.
All right, there's a pack of zombie dragons, and well, who knows what happened here? Oh no, they turned into frost giants and frost.
Oops.
Quick, go back a slide. And he's getting some mileage out of the heal 3 sitting on the fighters right now, so not a bad pickup. It's going to save him some menuing time and save him some potion usage. Did we see Wall at all?
Yeah, Wall was sitting at level 7 in on-rack, if I recall correctly. Yeah, this is a dive with not without its significant dangers, especially on the Elastoid side. No ribbons whatsoever. This is interesting.
Yeah, he's protected against Bane with the Aegis shield, but not against Crack and not against Zap. So could be pretty dicey here.
Down goes the first revisited fiend for Elastoid. Next slide, please. There we go. Now we're on the fire floor.
All right. Meanwhile, Czar is digging out the sea floor, and I don't know. I would dare say that Elastoid is ahead only by the amount of time it took Czar to full clear sky.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think that's the difference at this point. Elastoid about to set up for another encounter with, I believe this is the Team Rocket encounter.
Yeah, and uses a couple Cure 4s off of the Knight, which I'm not super crazy about. Tries to throw a Quad X out, but that one goes first, and Carrie does not have 300 HP today. Oh, just bad Quad X timing all around.
Like, did it hit? Did it not? Nope. Okay.
And well, the two in front are paralyzed, and a Bane comes out and misses everyone, fortunately. And well, Cure 4 is going to do some work here.
Yep, Cure 4 will go ahead and take care of that stun touch and get that fighter or knight back up to snuff.
And elects to not Cure 4 the fighter in front. And is just riding this Quad X train.
There it goes, finally. Question in chat: why is there Team Rocket Elastoids using custom sprites? One fine day also noting in chat that we did see Slow 2 come out of carry there. So that is one thing we're not going to have to deal with for either Kraken or Tiamat or Chaos as we wrap this seed up for Elastoid.
Yeah, Elastoid only has 3 charges of fast on a red mage with not a lot of health for an endgame dive. So definitely good to see Slow 2 out of the mix there. You're always worried about getting reduced to 1 hit during the Chaos fight.
There's a reminder we saw briefly that sea snakes are toxic down here in Sea Shrine, and that's a real danger for Elastoid.
Yeah, and speaking of another real danger, we've got Kraken 2 here, and there's a lot of punching that can happen.
Ooh, bringing out Zap.
Yeah, Zap not affecting everyone, so that's
great.
We saw a Bane and we saw a Zap, and neither one hit. So really, the only thing left to dodge is the Crack, I believe.
You've also got, of course, nukes and nuclears, the traditional things that will derail a Temple of Fiends Revisited run. We haven't seen any of those yet.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why diving Temple of Fiends is so scary without a ribbon, is there's enough that's going to kill you anyway, and then here comes a bunch of instant death spells on top of it, and then Inferno if you don't have fire resistance. So it's pretty brutal.
And Czar has also entered Temple of Fiends Revisited at this point. So we're about 1 full Temple of Fiends Revisited behind here, as Elastoid takes on Tiamat 2 now.
Yeah, throws out the fast charge, or tries to throw it out, but gets absolutely murdered by Tiamat 2. Shot for 400 to the red mage, so that
Ouch.
Things are looking a little dicey here, and it might be Cure 4 time.
I'm going to miss that red mage down the stretch here. We've got some Cure 4s on both of these knights that will help keep them healthy. But your fasts and your tempers are gone, the few that he had.
There were some beefy punches here. Elastoid's just going to help himself to some rock goals too, because not going to turn down some extra HP and strength for the chaos fight.
Czar still cruising along here, working his way through Temple of Fiends Revisited, about to get to some worms and then the Earth Floor next. Elastoid setting up now for the fight with Chaos.
And it is possible to, move that white shirt down and have the other knight contribute some things, but Elastoid's gonna go for this, and here comes the stop.
Stop right off the bat.
It's going to throw the Cure 4 to bring Fighter 1 back up, which is a good move because when you're paralyzed, enemies don't really care about your evade.
Thing I'm curious about, and it just may be because I can't kind of tell what's happening here. Does he have the defense on one knight and the power bonk on the other?
Yeah, so he's trying to have the man in the lead be the evasion tank.
And the telltale rumbling on Elastoid's side shows that Elastoid is successfully taken down Chaos with an SRL time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, 52 seconds. Get your GGs out in chat for Elastoid for taking the first week of this Swiss matchup between Czar, who is hot on his heels here on the fire floor now, about to take out Kiri 2.
Yeah, the no ribbon run. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. It's dicey too, but Elastoid making the correct call, getting some fortunate help on that Temple of Fiends Revisited run. I know that we saw Bane, I know that we saw Toxic, and so that could have gone all wrong for Elastoid, but making the correct call that he needed to be done because Czar's right behind him. Once you get to about an hour 45 or more, you've got to really feel like, okay, if I want to win, this has to happen.
And we're joined now by Elastoid. GG.
Thank you. That was a seed. That was.
Yeah, it was. No ribbons, huh?
Oh, I had a ribbon.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Was it from the inside?
I believe a ribbon. I believe.
Yeah, no worries. You have to forgive us. Your stream was playing a slideshow on occasion, and so we might have missed one for you.
My stream was doing something wrong.
Yeah, it was a little bit herky-jerky today.
It was choppy, is what it was. You say playing
fine.
a slideshow. I thought.
Yeah. But just some nasty stuff just consistently early on and through the early dungeons. I mean, even in Temple of Fiends, it seemed like everything in there could one or two shot you.
Yeah, it was. I didn't handle it very well either. It was comforting for me. Was if I'm having bad luck, Czar's having worse. So I was like, I know that this is bad for me. I know I keep losing time to stupid wipes, but Czar's probably having a lot more trouble because it's Czar,
Elastoid, talk to me a little bit about your party composition decision. You went with 2 fighters, 1 white mage. That didn't stick around for very long. You had 1 red mage. And then down the stretch, boy, fast and temper were nowhere to be found. How did that make you think and feel, and what was your strategy?
Well, when you opt into the red mage, there's a chance that you won't have access to temper or fast. Fighters, just given these flags, I find like worst case scenario, I'm going to have to either grind more or just check more chests and find a power bonk. I was actually real lucky in terms of the amount of weapons that I found. Wasn't really the concern. I tried to teach the red mage, like I got the red mage to level, or the white mage rather, to level 13, so she would have 2 charges of life too.
Mm-hmm.
Her round is potentially like a battery. One of the knights would fall, or that I would run out of healing. But no, I didn't run into nukes or anything like that. I just, Bowser had an aim and figured out that the red mage was the person to attack, so that actually worked out.
Tiamat was cracking your knights for like 300 to 400 too. So
and that was with dragon armor and Aegis shield. That was pretty high absorb.
Czar setting up here for his encounter with Tiamat 2, who punches for some serious damage here, Elastoid. You lost your red wizard at that point. You must have gotten a little bit concerned.
Well, at that point, 2 very strong fighters. I figured there was a good chance that I'd be able to pull it out anyway. Care Bowser. End ball. It's not like it was an alternate final boss or anything. It was dude, and I had the power bonk, so I figured I would just have to.
Czar setting up now for his fight with Chaos, giving Fiesel the Vorpal down at the bottom of the party here, and so we're going to go with critical hit strats from the night. We're going to go ahead
got the
and got an Invis 2 stack, 2 Invis 2 stacks. Here's 1 fast charge and defense that'll cast Ruse down on the knight. Chaos is going to go ahead and swing at that red wizard back up at the top of the party, and so Czar's strategy to go ahead and move that knight to the bottom of the party, immediately paying dividends here. That's 2 stacks of Invis 2 in defense now on that knight. Here comes some more. No more fasts or tempers sitting there at level 6, and so the red wizard is going to go ahead and throw out a couple Hail Mary bracks to see whether or not we can break Chaos into pieces. Chaos retorts with ink. That's not too terrifying. Pretty much a free turn. Now we got a whole lot of invasion up now for this party.
Czar taking advantage of all of the white shirt and all of the charges of Invis 2 that were available to learn, and gonna take a shot at Chaos right now. See how much damage can be done.
It's 8 hits for 71 damage. There were no critical hits there. Maybe just 1. From the Vorpal. So that's not really great to see. And so we're going to go back to power bonking. Ooh, Chaos rips out a tornado.
Yeah, down goes the black mage, but not particularly useful at this point. And time to reset all of that damage with a couple heal 3.
Yep, and this is where having that red mage and white wizard up for those heal 3 charges. Get your party back up to fighting shape here. Czar's still not satisfied with what he saw, and so he's going to go ahead and use the power bonk. We did try a swing with the Mazmoon there from the white wizard. That was 3 hits for 12 damage. That's not great. 1 more power bonk coming out yet for Czar. Here's Blaze again. It feels like we might have cycled around on skills. Yep, here's Tornado again.
Comes another tornado.
That was much better that time from the Vorpal. 8 hits for 925 damage.
Good damage rolls, and Chaos on the ropes right now.
8 hits, 645 damage this time. Chaos still staying up. Still using those skills. Boy, Ink, Blaze, Tornado, around and around we go. Wow. Okay, that'll do it. 7 hits, 1,217 damage. Czar takes down Chaos with an SRL time of... Ooh, that was pretty close. Almost exactly 2 hours. 2 hours and 15 seconds for second place. GG's to Czar. Everybody get your GG's out in chat for Czar for showing us a good example there, Edgeworth, of what the Vorpal can do if you get enough temper charges on it in this flag set.
Yeah, it's definitely a weapon you can finish the game with, although you're going to need to invest some buffs in there. But yeah, if you Vorpal, Excal, Mazmium, even Sunsword sometimes, all pretty good with weapon fixes, even with weapon fixes on.
Vorpal with 8 power bonk charges is slightly better than All Dagger with 8 power bonk charges. Both of them will get the job done.
So we watch the battle results scroll by for Czar, and we'll see if Czar wants to come in for a interview here. Elastoid, you moved to 1-0 in this tournament now, which means you're going to be in the 1-0 pool. What do you think of that?
Dangerous people in the 1-0 pool, so I can't wait to move into the 1-1 pool.
And we're joined in the chat room. We're joined in the chat room here by Czar. Czar, GG's to you. Tell us a little bit about how that went for you.
Everything went great until Wizard Trance could not get the rod to save my life.
Yeah, the ice cave was pretty rude to you. Elastoid had some rude moments in the overworld, but the seed seemed to take a dislike to you once you got into ice cave, didn't it?
The unrunnables were atrocious. Mud golems, no nuke, no fade. I mean, SRNG just, it reared its ugly head in this seed. I felt everything was going great until that ice cave.
Yeah, Kirito has rolled. I've seen 2 has rolled, and both of them have been best. He's the new Cyclone.
So Czar, this seed began with Cure 4 right at the beginning, which had to feel pretty good for you. And then there was no sign whatsoever of faster temper down the stretch. And so how did you adjust to that? Did the magic in the way that the magic came out sort of change where you wanted to go from one seed to the next? Like we saw you nope out of Ice Cave at one point, and you went to Ordeals instead.
Yeah, after 3 consecutive dives in Ice Cave, almost getting out on that last floor Wizard's Trance, I said, I'm out of here. I wanted to find towns early. I was hoping to find that exit or warp. Warp was level 8, because of course. Found exit, saved some time with that. I did a little bit of grinding outside Hufane, so I could get a couple charges of that exit to get me out of Marsh Cave quickly.
So we'll go ahead and start wrapping this broadcast up and start to say thank you to everybody that was out in chat. It was great to see such a nice crowd here on Speed Gaming watching Czar and Elastoid race. Elastoid, we'll start with you. Do you have any thank yous or final thoughts?
Thanks to Czar for accommodating my schedule for sure, because I've not been the easiest person to get a hold of recently. Thank you obviously to Speed Gaming, thanks to our trackers and our commentator crew. Yeah, that's about it.
Czar, my friend, I said earlier that you had run 682 races of Final Fantasy Randomizer over your career. This was number 683. They've all been different, but what are your final thoughts about this one?
They've all been different, but one thing remains the same in every single one of them, and that's this RNG.
Somehow I knew we were going to go there.
Indeed, I just want to get my thanks in. Thank you, Speed Gaming, Wab, Ikbin Maya, Elastoid, Edgeworth, Fiesel, viewers, FFR staff, everyone. It was an enjoyable race. I played the best I could, just Wizard said no. Trance music is where it's at.
So coming up here on Speed Gaming 1, we have a Link to the Past Randomizer League coming up in just about 15 or 20 minutes. If you liked what you saw here, over on Speed Gaming 2 at 9 o'clock Eastern, we're going to have another Final Fantasy Randomizer race. That is going to be Gregley Puff taking on the Hangry Canuck with Braxis, Wilkliosis, Danny, and Gouda up in the broadcast booth and tracking for you. That'll be at 9 o'clock Eastern tonight. We also have another race going on right now over at Randomania 2. If you're interested in that over in the intervening time period. But there's a whole lot of fun stuff going on tonight in the Speed Gaming family of networks. Link to the Past, Super Metroid, and us here for Final Fantasy 1. I'm going to go ahead and sign out now and do my bye-byes now. Thanks again to Wab for tracking. Great first effort to you, Wab. You're a veteran now. And so expect to be asked to track, and we'll get you into comms as well. Just as soon as there's an opening for you, buddy. And thanks very much for helping. Edge, it is always a pleasure to be able to commentate with you. And to everybody out in chat, thanks for watching tonight. Edge, you can take us home, okay?
All right. Stay tuned to this channel. We've got more randomizer action coming up at 8:30. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you all have a good night. Keep an eye out. We will have lots more Final Fantasy randomizer action coming soon.